Not a long way. Distance-wise, but time-wise, it's less.
Okay, so I have sent the file for today's lesson, and those who can view it clearly through the screen sharing may view it through the screen sharing. Those who are unable to view it clearly through the screen sharing, they may open the file in whichever screen that they are currently joining the class in. So today, our lesson today is on the association based on suffix letter. So every time when we study about any of the particles, we start with the introduction, and then we go to the association based on suffix letters, and then finally we go to the usage case, which is the more difficult one. And when it comes to usage, it is the more important one. But if one is unable, because we know that this differentiating and inclusive particle, these particles are dependent particles, we understand that they require the usage. They require the usage of the rules that tells us which particle can follow which name. So therefore, today we're going to talk about the rules. But if we remember from our previous class, it was stated that the differentiating and inclusive particles associate with their particular name on the basis of the rule that is similar to that of the recompound particle. So today we will talk about what is we will revise the rules pertaining the recompound particles. Okay, so before we begin, today we have two verses of dedication. Reason being today being the 15th of the first month of Tibetan calendar of the year 2150. And so today is known as Dorje. So therefore, on this auspicious day, so from the very first day of, it is said that from the very first day of the first month till the 15th day of the first month, Gautama Buddha, Buddha Shakyamuni, he performed each day, he performed different type of miracles in order to establish the two sides of there is the, whenever we talk about the dharma, Buddhism, we talk about the dharma that is according to the doctrine, and the dharma that is according to the practice. And so to establish a stronger foundation, and to establish that the potency of the practice aspect of the Buddhist religion, Gautama Buddha performed different miracles each day, from the first day of the first month of that year to the 15th day. And so on the 15th day, we call it Dorje. In monastery, we have this display of, we call it Chongachava. It's the offering on the 15th day to the lamas, the gurus, and Buddha. So we display, there is this display. Those who are in Dharamsala, you might have visited today at the main temple. Those who are in South India, you may have visited the temple here, where they have this display of the offering on the 15th day. So therefore, today being the auspicious day, I have written a verse dedicated to Gautama Buddha, in order for the blessing to every one of you who are studying Tibetan. So therefore, in accordance to today's auspicious day, I have written a verse. So we begin with that verse, and then the second one is the dedication to Mother Saraswati. Okay, so that is to arise wisdom. So throughout the course of grammar class, throughout the course of grammar course that we're going to have 1 day dedication to Lord Manjushri, 1 day dedication to the goddess Saraswati, so that they would oversee our lesson, and that we may have greatest benefit from it in arising the wisdom. Okay, so let me read this. The translations will be available on the file that will be shared in the channel. So this is the same dedication that we have in the Pragya Paramita Sutra. It says Namo Sarvagyaya. So Tamji Ishela Chatsalo. So here where we are saying, I prostrate to the omniscient one. And the one who is the omniscient here is the Buddha, all-knowing, omniscient. So I begin this verse. Shage gese jigden debun kyur. Kota mai drukun trelamte. China sangi chokor rakortu. Shage senge shabla chatselu. So the first line, Shage gese jigden debun kyur, means that the prince of the Shakya clan became the guide for the entire world. Gautama drokun trelamte. The Buddha Gautama showed the path of liberation. Chinansangi chokor rakortu. He who turned the wheel of dharma, of the external, internal, and the secretive dharma. Shakya Singhe Shablas Chatselo. I prostrate to you, O the lion of the Shakya clan, who is the Buddha Gautama. So now we go to the second verse, which is dedicated to Mother Saraswati. Yangchen hame kusung tola du. Yishil hamo. So this line is a line of dedication to Mother Saraswati. It means I bow down to the body, speech, and mind of the Mother Saraswati. Ishil hamo tsamni musema, peme semo, shira hötroma, yangcho kungi chune yangchema, yangchen hame shabla chatselo. So this line, the first one, Ishil hamo tsamni musema, the goddess of wisdom, who is the illuminator of all the world, the one who illuminates the darkness of ignorance of the entire world. Lame semo, peme semo, or shirabhyotroma, the light of wisdom, the princess of the lotus, the daughter of the lotus, the light of wisdom that shines in all directions. The originator of the excellent speech, O Saraswati. Yangchen hamesha chatelo. I bow down to your feet, O goddess Saraswati. So with these two dedication, we begin our lesson today. So this lesson will only be about association. So we have some examples. We'll have more examples, and it will be about rules on how each of the particle is following each of the name. So we begin with the third line of the 3 lines that we already discussed in the previous class. So the third line, Lekshi Jongwale. Jorchun le du kaptang chung. Jorchul le du kaptang chung. So when we say jorchul, it means the association, the manner of association. The word jor can be understood as to join, union, connecting, or associating. So the word jor could be understood as to join, to connect, union, or association. Jorchul, chul means whenever we have the word chul, it talks about the mannerism, how one joins, how one connects, how the union happens, how the association is done. So here in this very particular context, we only talk about the association, how the mannerism of association. Jorchul. Jorchul, the mannerism or the rules of association. Lerdu, we have hakyukuyi, which is the particle of, which is the relative particle. So what it does is that it relates this and this line. It says lerdu kaptang chung, meaning it is similar to the time, or it is similar to the manner that we did during the recompound particles. So the association with names, of each particles is similar to the recompound, is similar to that of the recompound particles. So the rules that we learned during the recompound particles, we applied the similar rule here. There is no different rule here. We apply the similar rule. So cup, which talks about the time, and chung, we already discussed in last class. Chung is means similar, somewhat similar, identical. Chung. So from the tree of excellent speech, the association with names is similar to that of the recompound particles. So we understand this to this point. We already established this. So the third talks about the association of the particle based on the suffix letters and the very rules that we have at this moment towards the association is similar to that of the recompound particles. So differentiating and inclusive particles, association based on suffix letters. So this is association based on suffix letters. So first I have written this in Tibetan. So the reason why I'm writing the definitions and clarifications in Tibetan is that you can also practice your reading while reading this. And everything written here is written on the basis of the written language rules. So here we have strictly not using any spoken language or colloquial language here. It is simply written language. So therefore, it also gives us an understanding of how the written language functions. But mostly it depends on the grammar itself. If you strictly follow the grammar, if you only use the particles of the grammatical system, if you're only using the words that are understood to be more commonly used, then most of the time you will be able to follow the rules of the written language. Rather than that, if you tend to use more regional dialect, if you tend to use terms that are specific to a particular region, then you fall under the more colloquial system of writing or speaking. So therefore, that is the reason why I have written it in Tibetan, so that one, you can improve your reading. Two, you can have, every one of you can have an idea of what the written language actually, if it's written only in written language, what it actually sounds like, how it expresses itself. Okay. 제두기 찌제남 제두기 찌제남기 대주춘 ni lodu kaptanta. So teni trayu tam tang tame ham shen am ming te jetuncher teni ming kang shi tar yangju ta yuce tela tam tang ming kang shi tar jinju mece tela ham jar gugi yu te ming si te shen am rangi ming tam 진주 당 tumbar jargu benna yak kam nang ngam se sam jeso. So here we are, what we're doing is that we're elaborating on the third line, where it states that it states that the usage of these particular particles, like we said, these are called the differentiating and inclusive particles because it's either differentiating particle or it's inclusive particle, depending on the usage case. Particle themselves don't manifest themselves as any of the group. They function on the dependence on the they function as dependent on the statement, the nature of statement. If the statement is of the nature of differentiating, it's a differentiating particle. If the statement is of the nature of inclusiveness, it is inclusive particle. And then we also, these two are the direct usage case. Direct because they are stated in the text. Therefore, direct usage case. There are inferential usage cases in which the particle will incline towards that particular usage case. So therefore, these particles, which are differentiating and inclusive particles, they follow the rules to be associated with a name on the basis of a certain rule. We call them association based on suffix letter. In Tibetan, we call it da jor. Da jor. Jor means association. Da means, in this case, da actually means sound. And when we say sound, we refer to the basic sounds, which are the letters. And then we go to the classification of the letters, which is, in this case, it becomes the suffix letter because it does not depend on the prefix. It does not depend on the foundation of name. It depends on the suffix letter. So therefore, da jor translates to association based on suffix letter. The words such as based on is more inferential. It's not written there, but it's more inferential when we translate it. It's more inferential translation rather than direct translation here. So the rules that it depends or associate based on suffix letter is similar to the rules that is pertaining the recompound particle. So we're going to come here. So in English, the differentiating and inclusive particles follow the similar rule that pertains the recompound particles. So what are these rules? What are the rules that pertains to the recompound particles? And so that is the particle tam. So we have 11 particle that we discussed during the last class. Kam, ngam, tam, nam, pam, mum, hum, ram, ram, sam, tam. We have 11 particles in which the particle tam is associated with name having post-suffix letter ta. So what is a post-suffix letter? When we form a word is a structure made of combination of different letter. It could be a combination of consonant. It could be a combination of consonant and a vowel. There is no vowel only. There's no vowel only word, but there are consonant only words. But this too is debatable. We already discussed that. It's also debatable. If we go through the lineage of these Sakya Pandita, we talk about every consonant having a vowel known as the root sound or root letter, which is not very much which in some of the other and more contemporary lineages is not very much favored. And so if we go according to Sakya Pandita's understanding, then we have to say that there is no word in Tibetan that doesn't have a vowel. But if we go according to a more contemporary approach, we say that, yeah, there are, and these are consonant. They don't require any root letter or root sound. So therefore, they're consonant only word. And this is also very much supported before the time of Sakya Pandita, during the time of the first language revision, where there were names which only had consonants, which had foundation of name only words. But we'll discuss these in very much later classes. So getting back to the topic. So here we see that the post-suffix letter is, so we know that a word is a combination of letters. So there are letters are placed in different position according to which they have their respective name. The one which is placed, not only placed, but also functions as the main or the key sound of the word is known as foundation of word. And foundation of word is very important. It's called Mingshi, foundation of name. In some translation, you will see that it is translated as name basis. But here we translate it as foundation of name. So the foundation of name is important. Why is it important? It's important because on the basis of this foundation of name, we will be able to position different letter. So therefore, there are 30 consonants, out of which there are only 20 pure foundation of name, meaning 20 letters out of the 30 which will not be positioned anywhere else but at the position of the foundation of name, and these are called 20 pure foundation of name. So now we have letters which comes before the foundation of name. These are called prefix. We have letters which come after the foundation of name. We call them suffix. And then there are these type of letter. There are only two, which is ta and sa. Okay, let me write these. These two are the only letter out of the 10 suffix letters. So these are also suffix letter, but then out of the 10 suffix letter, these two are capable of repeating after a suffix letter, meaning that they can be positioned after a suffix letter. So, so therefore we see that the letter which follows the suffix letter is known as the post-suffix letter. In Tibetan, it's called Yangchen. Yang meaning again, or sometimes it's called the super suffix letter. It's because it repeats after the suffix letter. So, for example, if we have word like, in this particular word, we see that this is the foundation of name. So this is the foundation of name. And so the letter that comes before this, it's the prefix. The one that comes after it is the suffix. And the one that comes after the suffix is called the post-suffix. In some translation, super suffix. But here we use the post-suffix because it comes after the suffix letter. So therefore, here we have to talk about the post-suffix letter, not the sa, but the ta. So if any name which could be understood as word in English, any name has the post-suffix letter ta at the end, then that particular name will be associated with the particle tam, tamatam. Any name, it could be any name which has ta as a post-suffix letter. It cannot be the suffix letter. It has to be the post-suffix letter. So if a name has the post-suffix letter ta, then it is associated with the particle tam. And if a word does not have any suffix letter, if it doesn't have any suffix letter, then it is followed by the particle hum. So when we talk about words with no suffix letter, for example, if we have the word me, which means fire, it is a name and it doesn't have any suffix letter. So therefore, word like this, me, mi, so, ra, these are name, meaning these are words. So these are name, and these, when associated with the differentiating and inclusive particle, will be followed by hum, because these are known as ta, me, ta. The word ta here comes from the word ming ta, which means ming ta means the one that comes after the foundation of name. So the one that comes after the foundation name, we're talking about the suffix and post-suffix letter. And so when we take the ta from this and then add me is the negation, which means no. It means no suffix letter. So tame means no suffix letter. So any name that doesn't have suffix letter, so if it doesn't have suffix letter, it will definitely not have any post-suffix letter. So a name that doesn't have a suffix letter, tame, will be followed by hum. So these are names which does not have any suffix letter. So therefore, these will be followed by hum. So so the post-suffix letter ta is also known as tagyu. We have already discussed this in previous classes. It's called tagyu, tata, tagyu. And a name that doesn't have any suffix letter is called tame. Doesn't have any suffix letter. And so a name that has the post-suffix letter ta and is associated with the particle tam. A name that doesn't have any suffix letter is associated with hum. Now we are left with the rest of the particles. So the rest of the particles will follow a name with suffix letter similar to its first letter. What do I mean by it? Is that we have kam, and the first letter of kam is ka. So if there is a name which has a suffix letter which is similar to the first letter ka, so kam, yak kam, because this is the suffix letter. This suffix letter is similar to this first letter of this particle. So yak kam, nang, which has nga, so ngam, se, suffix letter is sa, followed by sam, because the first letter of this particle and the suffix letter of this name is similar. So the same particle which has the same first letter to that of the suffix of the name will associate with that particular name. So yakam, nangam, sesam. So all of these are examples. So now we have understood the rule that we were talking back during the recompound particle. It states that there are 11 particles and the tam will be associated with name having post-suffix letter ta. Hum will be associated with name having no suffix letter tame, and the rest. So we must also understand that when we say rest, we are once again including hum. And this is because when we talk about the rest, we are talking about the rest of the particle, which needs to be associated with all the 10 suffix letter. If we say that hum is already being used with the word without any suffix letter, then we have a problem there. The problem would be there are names which have ha as suffix letter. For example, let's say ka. So we see that the last letter, the suffix letter is ha. So now we don't know which particular particle should be used with this because the suffix letter is ha. But the rule says that it should be followed by a particle that has the same first letter. So therefore it will be followed by hum. But we will get to the rules about ha. Ha is particularly more special than other particles when it is used, and there is a reason why. So now we see with this example, yak, kam, nang, ngam, se, sam. So these are the uses, some example. Now if we look at the table, we have at one column, we have all of the post-suffix letter and letters without any suffix letter. And in the second column, we have the particles which associate with each of these cases. And then finally, we have some examples. So the first one, sikte, which means particles, jinju, suffix letter. So, this is here. And this is here. Okay, so jinjuk, this is jinju. So this is the suffix letter, post-suffix letter, and one without any suffix letter. This is the second column, which has all the particles that associate with that particular type of name. And finally, examples. So sikte means particles, jinju means suffix letter, perju means example statement. So ka, if the jinju is ka, it is followed by kam, because the suffix letter is similar to that of the first letter of the particle, so kam. Ra come sang. So here come acts as or, but we're not going to talk about the usage case here. So ra come sang means it talks about two types of metal. So it says bronze or copper. Bronze or copper. Ra come sang. Now the second one, nga, and it will be followed by ngam. Jang, ngam, mar. Green or red. Ha, followed by tham. Me tham yeto. Do you have it or do you not have it? Ye to have, me to not have. Do you have it or not to have? Do you not have it? Na, nam. Pen nam nu. To benefit or to harm. Pa, pam. Parle pam momo. Bread or momo. Ma, mum. Kam mum nu. Is it dry or is it wet? Kam means dry. Lun means wet. Ha, hum. Tam, u. So here we talk about the usage case of ha. So this is the rule that is very special with ha. What happens is that whenever you're going to use ha, you don't write tu ha because you have ta, it's tam. And the other thing is that when you use ha, that the reason why is that when you use ha, you don't have this punctuation, this particular punctuation. This is the punctuation that's known as tsek. It's called the tsek. It is the punctuation that divides a word into different syllable. It divides a sentence into different syllable. So this particular particle is missing here. And this is the special rule that pertains to ha. When you use a particle, any particle with ha as the first letter, it could be yi, it could be yi, it could be hung, it could be hum, any of these particles. So till this point, we have studied few of these. Let me write them. So the yi, hung, ho, hung, hum. So all of these particles, yi, ho, hung, hum. These particles, when they are associated with a name, they do not have to be associated with a name with the usage of the punctuation that you see here, this particular punctuation. You don't have to use this punctuation when you associate the name and the particle. And that is the reason why, if you write it as, if you repeat tu ha, it becomes very problematic. For example, here, if I say ka, it becomes, because there is, it becomes kahaham. So you see that this doesn't work because this is the suffix, and so it has to become the post suffix, and we don't know what this is. This is something else then. But the problem is that there is no post suffix letter ha. There's only two post suffix letter, ta and sa. And that is the reason why what we do is that we just erase one, and now it becomes kam. But now we cannot say that this is the post suffix letter. It's because it's the part of this particle. And so this entire thing, kam, becomes one thing. And so ma will only be understood as a part of a portion of the word which has ha. So a part of hum. And so two ha will be, two has, ha will be represented by one ha. So there is no need to write two ha. So this is the special rule here with ha. So hum, u. Ta means edge. U means center. So do you at the edge or at the center? Ra, ram. Mar, ram, sho. Mar is butter, sho is yogurt or curd. Butter or curd. La, lam. Shil, lam, do. Glass or do could be understood in a few ways. In this case, normally do means stone, but in this case, it means crystal. So glass or crystal. Sa, some. Se, some, semo. Prince or princess. Now, the case with the post-suffix letter ta, it's called tata or yangju ta, associates with tam. Chint, tam, de. Have they gone or are they still here? Or be gone or stay here? Tame, ham. The one without any suffix letter. Ngam, ko. Me or him. So ngam, ko. So we see that these are the usage case. These are the usage case of the differentiating and inclusive particle. So these are the usage cases with example. Sorry, not usage case, sorry. These are example of the association of these particles, the differentiating particles and inclusive particles with suffix letter. So these are the example, and this is how they associate. So till this point, we see that whichever suffix letter is same as the first letter of the particle, that particle will follow that particular suffix letter. And here, this is the 11th one. And the 11th particle is known as the inferential particle because it's not shown directly in the text of the 30. It is there in the Tree of Excellent Speech, and it is there in the Armor of Speech, but it is, and also there in the commentary, the great commentary by Situ Rinpoche, and the oral commentary, which is documented by these the primal student of Situ Rinpoche, Dharmapada. In all of those commentaries and everything, you can find this inferential particle, but it's not written there directly in the text of 30, but it's inferential. So there are 10 directly stated particle. There is one inferential particle. Tam. So 10 of these directly stated particle, they follow the name on the basis of the suffix letter. If the suffix letter is same as the first letter of that particle, then the particle associate with that particular name. And then if the name has a post suffix letter ta, tata, it is followed by tam. And if it doesn't have any suffix letter, it's followed by hum. So this is the rule, which is the same as the recompound particle. And this is the example. So today we understood that we understood how the particle of differentiating and inclusive, how the differentiating and inclusive particle associate with name on the basis of suffix letter. And please understand that the examples given here, all of them are or usage. A usage of choice between two things. So it's under differentiating. It's under differentiating. So okay, now we are done with today's lesson. So before I read the dedication verse, if there is any question regarding today's lesson, please ask away. So any questions regarding today's lesson, please ask away. Yes. Yes. So it does not appear directly in the text, but it is inferential, and it has to do more with the language revision. It has to do more with the language. With the language revision, there arised the usage, and so inferentially, it was also made important as a usage case. So that is the reason why it is not directly stated in the text. That's all. Does anyone have questions regarding today's lesson?
Genla, knowledge
Lasso.
you. I think my question is repetitive in some way, but anyway, I see that you use two different tools to make the same thing. In root text, we have Sakatakaba Sakap, and in description, you use tse. For as I see the similar situation, as I can see, you use it for mark the end of some condition, some situation. So the question is, to use today topics, I can ask
Yes.
kap sam tse or tse kap. The question is which one, how you decide which one to use one of these in each particular situation.
Okay, so kap and se are not two separate words. Actually, they are similar words, and you can use both interchangeably. Labda drobe kap, labda dro tse. But in many of the cases, what tse does is that it saves us using too much particles. Like, for example, if we want to say, but then this can also be done with kap. So when we say lobcha drove kap, and then you have to use so, and but you can say lobcha drove. So it saves usage of many unnecessary particle. Usage of too many particle is not wrong grammatically, but it is very, it makes a particular statement very wordy, too much word. But then one must also understand that this can be done similarly with lobcha, roka. So here, interchangeable. Necessary particles, but then we also understand that we understand that is used for time. This is used in order to show time. This particular word, tse and kap, are used for showing time and are interchangeable in all cases. So tse means at that particular time. Kap means when it happened or at the time when. Tse is more like at that particular time. So both of them are pointing towards the preposition of time. So these are interchangeable. So a reason why I use tse is to do more with my it has to do more with my own preference. So I prefer tse to kap. So, and this you will also find in writings of other, if you read the writings of scholars, you'll also find that some scholars prefer to use certain type of word, even though it could be used, even though other words can be used at the same place, in its place, but they tend to use that other word, and that's purely preference. So therefore, my answer would be it's purely preference. It can be used interchangeably. That's all. So does anyone have more questions? Samsu. Te samsu. Some. It can be used, but some has to do more with a more restricted border, meaning it is like not like definitely when we use it in preposition, it's very similar to cup. Te samsu, te cups. Yes, it's similar. If it has to do with time, all of these are similar. But there are some usage cases where we might not be able to use them interchangeably. That is, if they are used with particular word companion. So in those cases, we find that these cannot be used in accordance to that. So if there are companion words which particular, like kabre can be used as samre, but not with tere. So cup can be used as cup, but cannot be used as tse or tsam. Yeah, it could be used tsam, but normally we use cup. Two cup cannot be used as tu tsam or tu tse. It will be used as two cup. So some of these special cases when it's associated with a companion word, then there are usage cases where it cannot. But if it's used as a particular particle that shows time without a companion word, then three of them are all the time interchangeable. So I hope that it clarifies. If you have questions, you can ask. So does anyone have questions? More questions regarding the differentiating and inclusive particle? So okay, so for this we will have assignment. I will send the assignment either by today or tomorrow. I will send the assignment by today or tomorrow, and about the so those who are joining me for the class tomorrow of the psychology, the class will have to be postponed, or most probably it will be on Sunday now, because tomorrow we have some sort of a ceremony here. What we do is that we it's called Chambat Dendre. What we do is that we bring out the Maitreya, and then we make a whole circumambulation of the monastery with the Maitreya idol. So therefore, most probably I will not be able to take class tomorrow. So we will postpone. Those who are joining me for the intermediate reading class, we will postpone it to Sunday. And so from next week, you will have, I will be choosing people on random who will have to read the fourth portion. I will send a recording in the channel of the recording of all the four portion that we had, portion 1, 2, 3, 4. We will have I'll make a recording of that, slow and fast recording, and you can listen to it and continue memorizing. So before we end this, let me read the verse of dedication. So this is a verse of dedication. It's not by me. It's already there. So it's a verse of dedication to Lord Shakyamuni. So so this particular verse, what it means is that it means or by this merit may all soon or swiftly, or may I swiftly, so here may I swiftly be able to accomplish or achieve the state or the state of the Buddha of Shakya clan, that is Buddha Shakyamuni. And Drubpay Malupa means not even a single sentient being left behind. Tesalakobashu means be delivered to the pure land of Buddha Shakyamuni. Okay, so with this, we're done with today's lesson. Assignments will be sent by tomorrow. If you have questions, ask them in the group. If you have recordings, you can. If you have recordings that you want me to listen, you can either send it in the group or you can send it to me directly. You can send it through Telegram. You can send it through email, any form. If it's the recording, for the recording, you can send it. If you're sending it directly to me, then you can send it through any medium that you feel comfortable with. And if you have questions, make sure that you ask the question in the group. You can ask me directly, but it's better if you ask it in the group. It's very beneficial to everyone. Some may have questions who are not able to ask them. So questions are very, very, very precious to our institute. So when we say our, I mean every one of us are the institute. So therefore, so it's very precious to every one of us. It helps us to improve, to see things from different perspective. So please ask questions in the group, and please recite, revise, and assignments will be there tomorrow. Recordings will be there tomorrow. If not in the morning, by the evening, it will be there tomorrow. Listen to them, continue revising, reciting, and thank you very much for joining in today. And those of you who are joining me for the reading class, I'll see every one of you on Sunday. Those who are joining me only for the grammar class, I will see you on Monday. So thank you, Tashitele, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, noon, or evening, or night, wherever you are. Lasso.